Good afternoon, everyone. So, my today's topic is my own experience. So, I'm going to tell about my first interview experience, successful interview experience, which I had it in 2006. So, let's start with from the beginning only. This interview call I received from one of my friend, and we both went to attend this off-campus drive. And as I was growing through multiple rejections, and I was working on my skill sets also, I was slightly expectation less and without any pressure. So when you are out of pressure or any expectation, you perform well, and that particular day was my day, and it really proved that time. So let's start with interview pattern. So it had a aptitude test, and then followed by the group discussion and the technical round, and then the HR round. So aptitude test was when I started giving it. All the questions were I was able to answer, and I was pretty sure like no, it will be passed. I will go through that. Then result was declared. Me and my friend both went through that, and the next round came, which was a group discussion. So it was a group of 5 people, and there was a rule were elaborated more, and there was one of the rule was it should be discussion mode. It shouldn't be in the debate mode, in the sense it should be a proper, and everybody should follow the group rules. And I was hearing those rules carefully because I was extremely cautious with respect to the group discussion, and that was my pain point actually that time. And group discussion started, and who were highly proactive in the group discussion, they took a lead, and they started giving lots of view about that. And out of these two, out of these five, and there was only two female were there, me and one more. And these two guys actually, they were very proactive in the group discussion, and they started giving lots of data about the group discussion, and they was cross questioning only to each other, and somehow it turned into the debate mode. And from the from my point of view, it was leading towards the fight mode. And I was not looking at them, I was looking at instructor actually, how he is watching these two of them. And I remembered one of the rule, when that group discussion will turn into the fight or anything which is not aligned with the rules, entire group will be terminated. And I remembered that immediately, and I don't want to be, without even doing anything, I don't want to be eliminated that time. Then and I interrupted both of them, and I told, it was extremely heated, and normally I never interrupt actually, I try to get away from that. But that was because somehow I was also part of that group, and my future was dependent on that. So I interrupted both of them, and I have told, let's give chance to the others. It's already 5 minutes are over. So somehow they looked at me, and instructor also kind of agreed, and they didn't say anything, because third person interrupted in these two fighting people. So then, because I have said let's give chance to the others, so I have given chance to somebody else actually, rather than speaking myself. Now that third person started, he was like waiting for that moment, and he started telling lots of story, and I was just looking into watch whether my number will come or not. And somehow at the after few sentences and all, he looked at me, and then he remembered like even others have to speak. Then he has given a chance to me, and then I spoke for few added data and all. Then I have given to fifth, there was a lady, so I have given it to them. Then that lady, she was supposed to conclude that, but she again passed it to me. So I was not expecting this, because already that fight was going on. I don't remember what exactly those people said, but somehow at the later point of data I collected, and I concluded as per my view only. and then it went well. And even instructor, I was I looked at him because uh, I was observing his facial expression when these two guys were fighting, and he was turning tensed actually. He was about to interrupt, and once we came out of that, then we dispersed actually. Then from my other groups, actually my friend and my college guys were also there, people, I came to know there were many groups who were terminated due to this only. Because what happens during group discussion within your educational side, we take it as a debate. Debate is not a group discussion. It's not a Arnav Goswami debate where he don't even allow anyone to speak in his show. So group discussion within the corporate has been kept to come on the conclusion. It's a discussion about the ideas, it's a discussion about the views, and to reach on the common understanding. And if you start with just proving your point right, then it is not a group discussion, it turns to the debate. And I am not at all good in debate. Reason is, although I can do that, but it turned into the huge argument which give me a lot of headache. And when it comes to the group discussion, it should be a discussion about ideas. So sometime when even you feel somebody else's ideas is better, so you can always add into that rather than just proving your point right. But it doesn't mean like you just give surrender, but try to include others also. This is what helped me to get through that round also. Then technical round was my strength from the beginning only, and that also went well. And there was many data structure and C++ concepts other than compiler questions and all were asked. But before that, I want to tell you just my experience in entering into the interview room. So when I entered into the interview room, so there was a 3 to 4 actually interviewer was sitting, and I thought like all of them will ask, but there were only two people asked. One was a technical interviewer, other one was a HR lady. And started with the technical round, and then it was passed to the HR lady. And the first question she asked, I was so surprised because I was not expecting that. We normally prepare for the common HR questions, and that was totally unexpected question out of my age only. And she asked me if I have to choose between my own kid who is sick and crying, and there is another assignment which cannot happen without me, so what would I choose? So I have given a mid path there, although I was not knowing answer, because reason is I was not connected with kids also that time. They were just normal. I started connecting with kids and younger people more once I had my own kid, and I started looking from their perspective more. Initially, although I had it, but they were not very special for me actually. So I just gave a answer saying, I will focus on work more, and my friends will help me to manage my kid. It was very vague answer. Now I tell, that is, I never, believed on actually help from anybody, including my friends and my parents, and as well as any circle. But that answer somehow I prepared to get through that interview, but that was not a actual answer because I never expected any help. I went through that, traumatic experiences. Expecting any help from anybody, I never thought. So it was more on being a self-dependent. And that question literally, it broke my mind because I was not getting anything to speak. And somehow I answered that. Then interviewer, that lady again asked me, do you leave your kid, unattended and all? So I told like I trust my friends, and I literally lied there. And somehow I get through that because I was not prepared for this. But today if I have to then she also told me, because she was going through that issue that time, she is not able to manage her kid as well as her work, because she has to travel to take interviews. And then I was okay, because I was not prepared for that question. But if I have to suggest anybody now, in this particular situation, my answer would be, you have to focus on your kid first, because if you leave your own kid unattended, it may lead to different issue, because in this particular aspects, you cannot trust anybody. Only mother can do that. But it doesn't mean like you have to compromise with your career. It's a situational reaction, or the situational decision. So you have to take that decision with your kid, because you cannot leave your unattended kid with anybody else. And but for your work, you can talk to your superiors. They will arrange a help. It's their responsibility to do that. Okay. And how to avoid these situations. So whenever you are in any assignments, always keep your backup. In the sense, you should be knowing, being a mother, or anybody, is not just about the mother. If you know that, like, you may get into, anybody can get into emergency, do not keep a too much dependency on yourself. If your work is totally dependent on you, and you are acting as a superhero, that means there is some issue with the project management. They haven't created a proper backup for you. So in certain situation, definitely you have to take decision towards, because you have a responsibility towards your kid. But to ensure it doesn't happen, you have to create a backup. So this is what I want to answer, if somebody is having question. More than that, I want to tell what exactly happened in interview. So after that, I have been selected in the interview, but my friend couldn't select, which I felt really sorry, and I was not in the position to celebrate, or being sad about her. And then my mother called me, and I told her, and that was my happiest moment, because although I was sad about my friend, but it was a happiest moment of my life, and it was one step towards my independence. And then I was thoroughly enjoyed that day, although I was slightly sad for my friend also. But I knew she is capable enough, she is more than her communication skills and all, everything is better than me. I knew about it, but that was my day that day. So I went through that, and it's a situational only, it happened, and that day was mine, and I went through that. And after some time, she was also placed, which I knew that. But that was one of my happiest moment. And if I try to connect the dot, if I try to even conclude what was my main learning from this entire whatever experience I have told, I had a many learning actually. So first learning is, when you're pressure free or your expectation free, you achieve more. That is the main learning. Second one is, we cannot experience or expect, or we cannot experience others experience every time. That is also another another learning, I would say. Although I consider myself I am good in understanding others emotions, but that has been developed recently only. When I went through so many traumatic experience, that has grown up a lot. Then I started develop. But that time I was literally clueless, like what I have to answer for that question. But in present scenario, if that situation already came multiple times, and without any decision, without anybody's support, actually without anybody's external influence, I was able to take decision what is a priority for me. Even that time I didn't set my value system also. Currently I have a value system. That time I was pretty sure and 100% sure that is my kid. I have brought him in this world, so I have a main responsibility towards him. Rest of the things can be planned, And if you really want to avoid this situation, always have a backup. And after that, actually, whatever even project manager is planning or any senior manager is planning or not, whatever I do, I always keep a backup. I always train somebody. So training somebody on my work became my regular practice due to these, experiences only, because I don't wanted anybody to chase myself if I am in a critical situation. So my suggestion is, if you have a habit, to keep everything with you and not pass that to the team members, it will not help you. You are thinking like you'll hold it, and then you will be, people will call you and you will get a kind of, significance, that factor comes, right? So it doesn't help, within team it doesn't help. So, and my request to the project manager is, always bring a practice to create a backup, one or two backups for everybody, especially the critical resources. I was a critical resources, and I used to plan my own backup whether others are planning or not. I will catch somebody, two or three people, and I will train them, and I will ensure they are my backup, and then I will tell my manager. Reason is that only, if you really want to manage work and life, then you have to do it voluntarily, if your management is doing or not. And there is always a, gap in management that I have seen in entire, but you have to be smart enough, and situational decision you have to take it. And top of that, you have to set your value system. My three values are my family, my freedom, and third one is my honesty. Due to my honesty only, I have been troubled, many times, and because honestly I have told them. But reason is, if I don't do, I don't feel good about it. And more than that, independence, I never compromised my independence. But I told you, family is especially my son was my high priority. So there are many situations came where I have chosen him over my any other value. So even independence also, and sometime honesty I will not say, but especially my son, my family who have been my first priority. And even I went through so much of traumatic experiences many times, and I felt really bad. Reason is, due to me he was struggling. So due to that only, because my value system is that, due to that only I was more traumatic, in the sense, because I was feeling due to me it is happening. But somehow it has been settled, and I'm pretty fine now. And I wanted to share this experience with you, so that you also learn that. And everybody go through, sometime we also will be clueless in interviews, but how you manage that situation, and that also happens that. And it happens, plus minus can always happen. All answers you will not be having, but how you manage that particular instance or situation, I don't wanted to tell those things, but I didn't have any answer, because I haven't experienced, and I was not knowing what to answer, but I wanted to get through that interview. So whatever came on my mind that time, I spoke. So that helped me, that went well also. Although I knew she was not convinced, but she also understood I went through so many rounds and different things. And whoever not been through that experience, there are very less chances they'll understand your situation. That also you should understand. So thank you so much for hearing this video. That was my first successful interview. I hope you will also have so many successful interviews, and just believe in yourself and be pressure free. And don't set too much expectation from you. Do not set expectation, because that will just give you pressure, and it will decrease your confidence only. So go expectation free, you will achieve more. So thank you so much. Bye bye.